Want to grow your business fast? With TikTok ads, anything is possible. If you've ever thought about advertising your business on TikTok, now is the time to do it. You can drive more customers to your websites, sell products right in the app, and you can even use TikTok's creative tools to easily make content and find creators to help sell your products for you. Find new customers today. Just open your browser, type in getstarted.tiktok.com/TikTok ads, and grow your business fast.
Empire.
Hello and welcome to my podcast. Do me a favor, subscribe to the John Keim Report wherever you get your podcasts. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. You can find us there as part of Empire Media, AMPIRE. Always much appreciated when you tune in. Don't forget, you can read my work on ESPN.com. And for Tuesday night, there will be a live stream. I'll be joined by Sam Fortier of the Washington Post. So bring your questions, comments, whatever. Listen to the show. Sam and I will have a good little chat, and we'll go from there. So join us there at 7:30 Eastern time. And for you Gold members, private Zoom, we'll do that Thursday at 7:30 and get you rolling there and get back into that groove again. So anyway, folks, so I'm going to get to my little game review, a play of the game, a drive of the game, and just some thoughts, a lot on the offense, because I'll be honest, you see me in this dress shirt. I had to go downtown today for something. So I didn't get the chance to watch the defense. So it's heavy offense, but that's okay because the offense is what really sparked this game, and it's what's going to spark this team moving forward. So important to see what happened on the offense. There you go. So I'm going to get a lot to that in a minute, but a couple things from the Dan Quinn presser on Monday. One, Marshon Lattimore, he of course was brought up, and they're going to work him out, continue to do some work with him this week, get a better feel for that later in the week. We talked to Dan Quinn again on Monday. We'll get a much better feel for Lattimore's status at that time. I would be surprised if he doesn't play against New Orleans, but that's just more of a gut feel. And also, I think if we're up to Lattimore, he may have been out there on Sunday. I just think, you got to be careful with him. And, when I told you we watched him in practice, the one thing you don't see him, which is where you really test the hamstring, is on that burst of speed, right? And that, turning, running, sprinting 30, 40 yards. You need to be careful with that because that's where you get hurt with those hamstrings as much as if you're just cutting. So anyway, better feel for him on Monday. I know you guys keep hearing that every week. I'm with you because we keep hearing the same thing as well. So don't have anything better for you. There you go. Zane Gonzalez, I know a lot of you want to know about the kicking situation. One thing that Dan Quinn said is they feel confident in Zane Gonzalez. So did not have a great day yesterday. We know that. And I think it's something that bears monitoring because you can't, they had the problem solved and then Austin Seibert gets hurt. And it's just been a crazy year for them with kickers, but they cannot afford to have a game lost because of another missed extra point or something like that down the stretch. That would just be a killer if you end up hurting your playoff chances because the kicking situation continues to mess up. But Gonzalez has been perfect on his extra points, missed the 2, got to do better. But right, like I said, Quinn said he has confidence in him. So the other thing Quinn was asked about, well, first of all, on their bye week, they will be off the rest of the week. They are done. You guys get away. This is a team that absolutely desperately needs the bye. I will say they played very refreshed on Sunday. They looked ready for a break after the game. And I think some of the joy in that locker room after the game, I'm pretty sure, was knowing that you had a week off. You now have a week off. You can go get away. I think this is a team that badly needs to rest up. 13 straight weeks is an absolute grind. And I think it contributed to some sloppy play a couple weeks ago. You just are hitting the end. That's why I think my play of the game was an important one for all these reasons. So anyways, more of that in a minute. And then Dan Quinn was asked about using more 12 personnel, one back, 2 tight ends, and if it was more. And yes, it was more. And according to Next Gen Stats, for the season, they've used 2 tight ends, the 1 back, 2 tight end sets 35.5% of the time. Sunday, it was 43.8% of the time. Brian Robinson ran 7 times for 70 yards out of the 2 tight end look for the season. He's run out of that look 32.3% of the time. 49 carries, 283 yards. Not a bad total there. So that's pretty good. Anyway, Quinn said, a lot of times with that stuff, it's very scheme and game plan specific. But if you're having success with it, you can then dictate to the defense what you want to do rather than just attacking certain things. If it's working that well for you, you can get back to that more. And he said it is possibly something they'll use more of down the stretch. They've already used it a decent amount, but certainly going from 35% for the season to 43.5 Sunday, nice little jump. So don't be surprised if you see a little bit more of that down the stretch. So anyways, let's get to a few things from the game. I don't want to keep you too long because I don't want to, bore you with all sorts of details, but play of the game is the Brian Robinson 40-yard touchdown. And it should be obvious as to why. First of all, it's an explosive run. His career high touchdown run before that one was 15 yards. But there's a 3-play drive. So it comes after a couple weeks, and especially last week, where you just had a hard time getting anything going and you had good field position. You wasted it. So here they come on the first drive of the game. Good, decent starting field position, good starting field position. And then you cap it off with a 40-yard run by Brian Robinson to get you going. And that, I really think a play like that settles you completely, and it put them in a really good spot. I think it allows you to play relax, combined with the defense shutting down Tennessee's offense early in the game, which I thought they would do a good job against them, but they completely shut them down early and forced a turnover, and I'll get to one of those in a minute. But I think that was, but to me, the play was Brian Robinson's run. And it was also because of what it showed. There's a lot of things going on in that play. You have the pulling action. You had, first of all, Jeffrey Simmons, he's left as the left defensive tackle, kind of slants inside a little bit, and then they were able to seal that off. And you have Nick Allegretti and Brandon Coleman pulling. Allegretti gets the linebacker. You have Coleman getting out in space, and you have John Bates sealing a linebacker, getting enough of him to just slow him and take him out of the play. And you have Robinson hitting through that crease. You have Noah Brown blocking downfield. Robinson goes untouched. Like, that was phenomenal for a 40-yard run, but so many things worked right on that play. And then Robinson takes it the distance, but it gets him going. A necessary one after last week's clunker, gets the crowd in the game right away. Crowd feels good, team feels good, defense goes out and then stops him again. So that's why that is my play of the game, because it meant a ton to an offense. And it also, listen, man, this offense they've had to grind, and it's hard to live that way. To get an explosive play for a touchdown like that was a massive boost. So the play, number 2 play of the game, I'm going to go to the defense and Mike Sainristil's play, because you're up 14-0, and Tennessee is not necessarily showing any signs of life, but you put your foot on the gas. And I apologize for the cliche, but that's what they did. One of the things that they always talk about is ball is life, ball is life, ball is life. And when you walk in the facility, and you're walking on the stairs, you see this big video board, and it's just kind of like, almost like if you have like an electronic, for your pictures, right? It just goes from one frame to the next. Well, they'll have phrases up there like brotherhood, this and that, but ball is life is often up there. And there's just a big screen, and it's all about, the ball is everything, right? The ball is life. And so in this play, it was exemplified, and Mikey Sainristil does a good job. You have a tackle pulling outside in the play. He's coming up to take on the tackle, but he cuts inside to get to the back and just grabs it, and then starts ripping the ball out as you have Jeremy Chin coming up to help on the tackle, but they both kind of tackle him, but Sainristil rips the ball out, recovers the ball, sets the offense up for a short field. Offense cashes in 21-zip, adios Tennessee. So that's why, like, that is, it gave the offense a short field. They needed that because they don't get a lot of those. But this goes back to the ball is life credo and mantra, I should say. But it was just a really good job by Sainristil. Again, the guy is small, and he's always throwing his nose in there. And I think that's why they feel so good about that pick. And they should. Like, he is legitimately going to be a guy here that's here for a long time, that you are going to really like watching play, whether or not his future is on the outside or inside the slot. He's going to be a guy that's going to factor here for a long time. He's just the kind of guy you want to build your organization around, much like, to me, he's like the defensive side of the ball, the Terry McLaurin. So anyways, but it led to the Jaden Daniels touchdown pass to Terry McLaurin. And that one, by the way, I was going to talk about this later, but I'll just say it now. Like, look at this pocket. I'm going to put up a video up here, or excuse me, a clip up here, because I can't put up video, but I'm putting the clip in here. And if people who put up videos probably aren't allowed to do so, but I'm not getting in trouble with ESPN. So there we go. And that's my employer. So we're not allowed to do it. So there you go. Anyway, but look at this pocket. It's what I liked about this play is it's 4.11 seconds that he has to throw the ball. And nobody's, you have a linebacker coming on the outside to getting to him, but on the play, Jayden Daniels shows really good awareness. First of all, he looks to the right. You have McLaurin on the right doing a deep crosser, but the action of the play kind of occupies a safety. You see some offensive guys in the middle, occupies safety, but the play takes a while. And so you need to have the good protection, but the line does a great job. There's nobody even close to Daniels, but he also does a good job of being patient. He has a good awareness, slides to his left a little bit. Then you got McLaurin over the top. So just a really good capper, but it all stems from Mikey Sainristil's forced fumble and fumble recovery, which is the second play of the game, and it's the one for the defense. Drive of the game. No, so we're all staying here in the first quarter because like I told you last week, the first quarter is where they lost the game. This week, the first quarter is where they won the game. And so I've already named the play of the game and the other play of the game, which led to the touchdown, a third touchdown. But to me, the drive of the game is the one that's sandwiched in between. And it's 11 play, 80-yard drive. And I'm picking this one. And by the way, you leave on your comments what you feel the play of the game is, or what you feel the best drive of the game. Listen, man, you could go to the second half and say after they got up 28-13, or it's 28-13, Tennessee's kind of crawling back in. That drive was a crucial drive as well, to go up 35-13, because you punt there and the Titans started to move the ball. Levis was starting to feel pretty good. You could change the game right there, and they didn't. They went down and scored. But I'm sticking with this one mainly because it puts you up 14-0, but it really, after you get that big series, like you had the big series, you're feeling really good. If you had gone out there after another forced punt by the defense and you don't really get anything going, it's like, well, was it just one really good play or one good drive, or was it something more? And this one was something more. And I liked it because it showed so much of what I think went right for that day. And again, you had the hot start. You get this going. You get the momentum. This is how you build on that momentum. So you not only get the big play, now you kind of bludgeon them a little bit. And it grinds it out. But it was featured so many good things. A lot of good down and distance situations. It had it all to me. You have Jayden Daniels scrambles a couple times, 5 yards. And one thing that I thought, actually, and capped it off with a 3-yard run for a touchdown on a scramble. So, but the one thing I thought, like the Tennessee left gaps in their pass rush so he could get up there. I saw that with Drake May. You saw it with Jayden Daniels yesterday. It doesn't have to be 20 yards. But, man, you're getting 5 yards on 1st and 10, 5 yards on 2nd 1, 3 yards for a touchdown. That's all you need. It doesn't, and that's what he was doing when he was going well and the offense was going well. You were getting that. Some teams took it away, whether you want to believe it was the ribs, whatever. I definitely think watching the games again, I think Pittsburgh and Philly did a great job of taking that away from him. And Dallas, he ran the ball pretty well, right? He had 74 yards. So, but yesterday on Sunday, he did everything right. And I think the offense just was going for whatever reason. Doesn't matter. They were really good. And so again, they had everything. So you also had you had a third one you had the third one slant to Terry McLaurin. What I liked on this one, it's a blitz pickup by Brian Robinson. This dude was really good in blitz pickups yesterday. And he had 3 in a row. He had a blitz pickup on a scramble, blitz pickup on the slant to McLaurin, and then on the next one, there's another blitz pickup where it's actually going to be a play fake, and Daniels rolls to the right. No, excuse me, it was the 6-yard screen pass to Zach Ertz where he gets drilled forward by Simmons for a couple of yards. But on that play, if you watch it, there's a play action and it's going to be a play action and then to freeze. But you have Robinson's going to get the fake, but he cuts off just before the fake because he sees the blitz coming off the edge. And if he doesn't peel off, then Daniels is drilled and probably gets drilled, and it's not a 6-yard gain. Instead, it's a 6-yard gain. So it's only a 6-yard gain, but it's probably really realistically a 16-yard gain, because if you don't block that guy, it could have been a 10-yard sack. So a really good job by Robinson on each of those plays. Very good. So I also like the play design. So you had a 3rd down and 1 on a 16-yard pass. My bad. It was a 16-yard run by Brian Robinson, but on the play, it's a 3rd down and 1. And they showed a bubble action to the right. So you had 3 receivers right. I think it was McLaurin he's the inside guy on that side. backs up and starts giving a bubble action. So that draws a safety up. Yeah, and it just opens up. It takes a defender out of the possibility, out of a possible gap for Robinson. He slips through. You have Sam Cosmi shoving a linebacker out of the way, and just good. And the other thing I liked about this is Robinson pressing the hole and cutting back. We saw that consistently all day with Robinson doing it, with McNichols doing it, with Chris Rodriguez doing it. Press the hole, patience, vision, cutbacks. It worked all day, folks. Then there was the O-line blocking on this drive. Again, a clean pocket on a 11-yard pass to McLaurin on a hitch. You have Jeremy McNichols on a 6-yard run inside to the 3-yard line, in which you have Allegretti and Tyler Biadasz doubling. I think it was definitely Simmons. But what I liked on that is the way Biadasz fights to get control of Simmons on that. It allows, because he does that, he gets his butt around, but and then you have Allegretti because of that. Because of the way Biadasz fought to get that control, then Allegretti was able to get to the second level, creates enough of a little lane for McNichols to get 6 yards and set up the Jaden Daniels 3-yard touchdown run. So and he was able to juke. He looks like his old self, whatever you want to go. But it doesn't matter. Look, good job on that drive. And I thought it was a really good drive because of all the things that it showed. So I was really impressed with that one. But what I also liked, so that's plays of the game, drive of the game. If you got your own thoughts on that, please let me know in the comments. But just a couple other things stood out. And then the offensive line was outstanding all game, but I also think they got a lot of help by the tight ends. I think the receiver blocking was really good. And it's funny because I think there have been times, I've said it on here, that I think Terry McLaurin is a little bit has been inconsistent with his run blocking for sure. Felt like he was pretty good on Sunday. And perhaps, and I've talked to people in the past who are like, when he gets more, he needs to get involved early, because I just think otherwise you start pressing. Maybe you're not as focused on other aspects. And what I saw here is you get involved early, then you see a different guy overall. And I don't think this is not about him pouting or anything like that. Not that at all. It's just that it energizes this guy, it energizes the team. And I think when you get someone like that involved early, it pays off in multiple ways. And then you also know Brown was really good in that area, but he always is. And I think I've talked to defensive coaches, or I talked to one defensive coach in the league who was saying that they really kind of worried about Noah Brown because he can do everything that you need a receiver to do. It's the deep ball, it's the contested catches, it's the blocking. And I think that matters too. And then you have, again, good patience and visions by Rodriguez, good patience and vision by McNichols. And I think you saw it a number of times on the runs. And, I liked the way they used, the alignments and all that. There was one time, I think it was on one run where, which one was this? Where you have Bates on the left, goes in motion to the right and just kind of sets behind the tackle and the guard on the right side. But the key here is before the snap, or before he goes in motion, you have the defensive tackles kind of shift to their right. Well, that creates a better blocking angle for the line, because they're going to block down. You're going to have Robinson run go to the right. But what I like on the play is this is where some of Cliff Kingsbury getting in his bag, so to speak. You have Noah Brown pulling on the play. And you have, again, so you see him pulling, he's leading, he's basically the lead blocker on this. So he's coming through, and he and McLaurin do a really good job blocking for Robinson. I think it's like a 12-yard run here, but just a good job. But that's where Kingsbury did that. Later, you have Dyami Brown pulling on the play too, through the hole. And so you have big receivers like that. They got some quickness, and it allows you to block down the field. And that's where Brown gets his help here on his block, is down the field on a safety. You have McLaurin in a corner, you have Brown in a safety, and you have Robinson just kind of running through those guys. Just a really good job there. I like that. Obviously they use a lot of eye candy. And so I think, there was on the eye candy one time. It's funny because they got, if you remember, Jaden Daniels did a 12-yard run around the end. The corner on that side has no clue where the ball is, because he's thinking he's a man, but he's seeing he's watching the ball carrier, the fake ball carry going the other way. Well, he just leaves his area to go get that ball carrier. So then he gets over there, sees that there's nobody there, kind of turns around. I'm got to figure in his head, he's thinking, oh crap, because you got Daniels running around the end for 12 yards. So just a good job there with all that stuff. I also like that there's a 25-yard run by Chris Rodriguez. And what I like too is you have they sent, again, Bates goes in motion and it causes the linebackers to shift. That it gets the linebacker inside kind of to the center area. But because of that, then you got Allegretti has a better blocking angle. So one thing I always say with Kingsbury, the motion makes sense. The motion leads to a direct action by the defense that helps the offense. That's how it's been most of the year. And on this play, you absolutely saw it. And on this, then you have Bates coming back, going up against Simmons. Simmons is a big dude, man. Like that could be like running into a brick wall for even a guy like Bates. Instead of running into him, he's cutting him. And what you see, and I put up a little picture here, is you see Rodriguez just because of that, because he cuts him. And if you try to stone him, you're going to get knocked back and you're going to pinch the hole. Cutting him though, now you got to make him play like an athlete and just be a little bit quicker. And he doesn't. He couldn't do it. He ends up with an arm tackle attempt, but a good job by Rodriguez getting through there, but also the vision, the cutbacks, and led to a 25-yard gain. And he did that for his touchdown too. It's just a really good press the hole, cut back, press the hole. You get to about a yard behind the line, cut back, draw those guys in. Like their linebackers were attacking those gaps, and they did a good job of creating those cutbacks, knowing they're going to attack those gaps and cutting back. And then you have the tackles, like they did a good job against Simmons and T'Vondre Sweat, big fellas, but they, whether through double teams, but also just, not forcing them to use their quickness more than their strength. And they weren't, even though they had a lot of tackles, they were not the factors in the game that Tennessee needed them to be. So just a really good job by the run game overall, from the play calling. But when they had 77 plays, like that's the most they've had this season. When you get that, it's because you're always like, they were in 3rd and 1, I think on 11 of their 3rd and 3 or less on 11 of their 14 third downs. That's how you stay on the field. That's how when they're against Dallas, it was not like that. A lot of 3rd and longs. That's the difference in these games, is what they were always in the 3rd and short or manageable for sure. Makes a huge difference. So, and then Jayden Daniels looked really good overall. I mean, the kid can play, man. We all know that. But the one thing that I like is just he plays with such a confidence and a swagger, and you just don't, whether or not he's had a good week, a bad week, in the locker room, he was always the same. And shoot, I don't think he's necessarily had a bad, like that he's been really bad where it's like, oh my gosh. But he's had some games that weren't quite as good as others. But during the locker room in the week, always the same guy, joking around with PR staffers, with players, loves to trash talk, loves to compete, always the same guy. But so he had good zip on the ball. I think one of my favorite the passes by him was a 3-yard touchdown pass to Terry McLaurin, because you got a corner, I think it was a corner defensive back blitzing, but it's just like the sidearm, it's like a sidearm delivery and it's just whipped it, right? Just whipped it to McLaurin, but a perfect pass. I mean, McLaurin is blanketed, really good coverage, but he puts it in the only spot that McLaurin can get it. And it's just, that's the Jayden Daniels we saw early in the year. And I don't think the kid went anywhere. It's just sometimes you play really good teams and they do things against you. So but you saw it there. Like that was a bullet of a throw, just a perfect ball placement, terrific all the way around. He had good rhythm all day. I felt like there were a couple misses. If you remember, there was a little the ball to Noah Brown on the left side, and think it would end up before the missed field goal. That should have been a touchdown. And that was a really good play call. Like it was one of those fake screens and go, right? Nobody's down there. He's on the left side. Nobody's there. If the ball is thrown well, he's going to run. It's going to lead him into the touchdown. That he got 11 yards, but they ended up missing a field goal. And it really, that's one where I think Jayden Daniels would like to have it back. There was also a bootleg to McLaurin where I think he caught, it was around 11 yards or so. And he kind of had to reach for it on the ground. But if you're able to get him a better ball, you can lead him also to possibly a touchdown, maybe certainly inside the 10-yard line for sure. So, but you end up having to fall and grab it, but he still got it, still got some yards, still got yards on Noah Brown. But those are two that I think he would like back because we've seen him complete those. So, and he was being his athletic self. I mean, that's what he was, but also I think operating in rhythm and making good decisions. He had one where a little hitch to McLaurin, but I think what you read is You're reading linebacker goes to the flat to cover Ertz. As soon as he does that, balls out to McLaurin. Good read, good decision. Very good patience on the touchdown to McLaurin as well. Again, 4.11 seconds. But I like the awareness. I like the patience. And I thought he made good decisions overall. There were a couple other ones where you say, oh, could you have thrown it here? Could you have thrown it there? Yeah, for sure. But I liked overall the decision making. It's been good all year. That hasn't changed. I think that's the key. And I will always say the best things that I hear with Jayden Daniels are what I hear behind the scenes as much as what you see on the field, because what you hear behind the scenes is a guy who's going to keep getting better because it matters to him to get better. And that's going to lead to even better play on the field as they move along. So anyways, really good job overall on the offense. And I think, that's when you run that many plays, you can get to more plays. And that's where they're doing. Shoot, there was one where, here's another one that I really like. And this is, again, Kingsbury getting his bag. They're selling the bubble, and you had Zach Ertz look like he's going to block on it, and he sells the block, and the defense starts coming up. He cuts up the seam. Daniels to Ertz, 25 yards. So I felt like he did a good job getting to his checkdowns in pretty good rhythm. Sometimes it was like one time it was the Zacchaeus, and it was the 1st and 10, only 7 yards, but now it's 2nd and 3. Makes a big difference when you can get him that kind of opportunity. So good job all around for them, and a game that was absolutely necessary. And I'll talk more about the defense throughout the week. And you maybe on Tuesday night, if you want to ask Sam and I about the defense, I will have watched them by then. So anyways, folks, that's it for me. Appreciate you sticking around, and I hope you enjoy this stuff. And but if you have any comments on, again, play of the game, drive of the game, whatever you want to say about it, leave them in the comments, and we'll go from there, folks. Again, 7:30 Tuesday night, live stream Eastern time, by the way, with Sam Fortier from the Washington Post, and you Gold members, 7:30 Thursday night for Eastern time for another private session. Join me there, because I always enjoy that. And the more we get there, I'm going to try and bring someone on Thursday. Don't know who yet. And I'm going to try and bring someone else on next Thursday as well. So join me then, and let's have a good chat. And we'll see you tomorrow night. Or see you tonight, because you're probably listening to this Tuesday morning. Talk to you next time.